Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Da, 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 da. Hey, my doggy came in here. You just came from outside. Good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Come here, good boy. Yeah, you have a good day today, huh? You have a good dog day today? All right, let's have a good dog day today. You're a good dog, son. Good boy. What you doing, huh? What you doing, huh? All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for holding on while I was getting myself set up. Wow, my chair is squeaky. I need a new chair. But we got some good stuff ahead of us today. Thank you, Antonio and Yuli and Michaela and Stephanie. Thanks you for stopping in at Myth, Lore, Aliens, and more. And today I got a real good treat for you guys. If you're into the classic sci-fi movies, we're about to have some fun today. This is going to be a really good one. I'm really looking forward to this because today I get to talk about They Live, which is one of my favorite movies for a lot of reasons, and I'll start to get into why this is among my favorite movies like of all time. And it's not predictable stuff. It's not the fight scene, which I'm going to do a whole stream later to talk about specifically the fight scene and what I see in that. But it's a significant film. Now, this film comes out, I believe this is 1988, and this is John Carpenter. And it's important to know a little bit about the director before we really get into it. John Carpenter is a guy who's known for using the common man as his hero. So this is kind of the archetype that he's going to build this story on. Now, this is a Reagan era America, which is very different. So again, you know, I'm Gen X, so you know we were right there living through Generation X, so or the Reagan era. So all this stuff is extremely relevant, like for how life was going on. And I wanted to pull up a little information. I'm gonna look this up really quickly. John Carpenter films. And so I want to really talk about the director because you can see the director in his work. Now, this guy is known, John Carpenter, for doing a lot of like quote unquote kind of minimalist or low budget films that have extremely high impact, right? So if you know this guy's work, like this is Halloween, think Halloween 1978, that's John Carpenter. Think Escape from New York, that's John Carpenter. So he's established some real horror in his career, but this is also the guy who did the direction of Stephen King's film Christine. He also did Starman, one of my other favorite films, Big Trouble in Little China. And we'll talk about that because the choreography for the fight, like when we talk about the fight scene, like the alley fight scene is going to get its own breakdown, but we'll talk about that because that fight scene, the choreography for that fight scene actually has meaning. You know, I'll talk about the guy who directs it, but this is another film like the director does Big Trouble in Little China, like the classic Kurt Russell film. And I'm going to talk about that. Like that's deserving of a whole different, stream or breakdown on its own. But what I wanted to get across is that this guy has done a ton of films, right? And he's always kind of worked with this story of the coming from the little guy. He tells stories from the small guy, the average, everyday working man. That's why it's so important for this film, because this film is essentially about like cultural rot. That's really what we're seeing. It's all kind of designed around capitalism being the rot, but it's actually brought about by this alien civilization, right? That's what's really going on here, and this is kind of revealing. So I wanted to cut to this scene because I feel like this is among like 2 or 3 specific scenes. This is one of the most important scenes in the movie because it just really cuts to the chase where we're starting to see like what's really going on with this character. So let's kind of get into it. And it starts off with this guy who is called Nada, right? And Nada is played by the great the great wrestler Roddy Piper, right? And this is extremely important because the casting of it was not by accident. So this is the first scene. So he gets these glasses, and this is just your regular guy walking down the street. And again, because this is Reagan era, what they're talking about is how hard it was for regular people to eat. So you're seeing all this homelessness. He's kind of doing day labor work at this point. This is kind of how we get to know Nada. It's gritty, right? The streets are kind of grimy. And this is important to while we had, John Carpenter doing these type of films, the very same era, we had John Hughes doing like the The Breakfast Club, which was about affluence. Even a lot of the John Cusack movies, like Better Off Dead, are all about suburban affluence, but in the city, it was just, poverty. These people were really struggling. So we see this guy, and if you look at him, like, I love directors that have meaning in what they do. And if you see him, there is this sense of isolation that we get out of him. This is before he knows everything's wrong. This guy's just dealing with the day-to-day, man. Like, you're sleeping at food banks, and there's a whole community around this guy. And so why Roddy Piper? Because he represents that rough part. This is a guy who had not had any real acting. I mean, wrestling is acting, so we're going to give him respect as a professional wrestler. Like, you're selling it. You understand, character development, all that stuff. But we see this guy kind of walking through the city, and he's pretty much a loner. Now, he stumbles upon these glasses. He stumbles upon the group that is the actual resistance. And the resistance, like, at this point, if you haven't seen the film, again, spoiler alert, right? Go watch the film. Catch up on some history. At this point, the alien takeover is so complete, but we don't even realize it. That's the big thing. It's like, yeah, we've been completely dominated by this alien civilization. We don't even know it. We're completely slaves. So this is what he's revealing. And again, if we juxtapose it with the other films that were going on, all this stuff makes sense. So you see him in this isolation. And the interesting thing is you see him on the street. If you watch the movie, when you watch the movie, because I know you guys are going to catch up on this. This is a great American filmmaking right here and great American storytelling. So there's still really, really good storytelling that's taking place in our culture. And I think this is it right here. So you see him and you listen to it, and the audio with the scene is this isolation. So that kind of gives you more about what this guy is going through, what this is about to be. Despite being around all these people, he's kind of isolated. And he's got these sunglasses, and he doesn't know, like, why. You can see he's still kind of looking at the sun. He doesn't know why they're important. He stole them because this is what you got to do to survive during this period of time. People are starving. Thanks for everybody just stopping in. People are starving. So him being a thief isn't like really much of a moral judgment on him because the system is so oppressive. So he steals these sunglasses, and he doesn't know why they were important. He doesn't know why they took the time to hide these away. He just knows that he has them now, and he's trying to figure out, like, why were they even trying to hide them? So he takes his first risk, and he puts them on. Now the movie just started. Really, at this scene, I think this is like 30 seconds into the film, or something like that, 27 minutes, into the movie. So he puts the glasses on for the first time, and what do you get? Obey, right? This is it. This is now where he's starting to identify what's going on. So he sees Obey, and he's like, what the hell, right? You snatch the glasses off, right? And you go back to what the original message was. It's the billboard, right? But lo and behold, if you take all that off, right, the glasses come back on, again, it's this message. It's Obey. And this is shocking. This is shocking because the fascist system is already set in place. And we're going to see, this is, again, regular guy. This is everyday man who's dealing with it. This is not an exceptional person, but you can see his reactions to it are, he's already confounded, right? He's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Why did I just see that? And you can see him go through it. And this is for a guy who's not like the most trained of actors. I think he does a really good job of just being a regular ass guy. So much props to Roddy Piper. And we'll talk about his screenmate, Keith David, later as well, because they've got a great scene together. But what we're seeing again is this is reinforcing who the regular guys are. And they chose Roddy Piper because he could portray this kind of like, the rub in the eyes. It's a little over the top. Like, this is what we would see, a wrestler do. But he's getting inundated with the message. And we see it now. These are your messages. Reproduce, marry, spend money, and it's everywhere. And this is where he starts to get it. So imagine you're walking through life right now, and all of a sudden you get something, and you're seeing all these messages that are hidden around you, and no one else sees them. So it's a profound moment. It's a profound way of taking how this character feels and tying us in with it like real time, because we're feeling it real time. This is a long scene. I want to say this scene probably spans like 8 minutes, which for a director, you're putting a lot into a scene when you're giving it that much, right, gravitas time-wise. So it has to sell. And it does, because we see him again, throw the glasses back on, right? Like you're looking, you're seeing live. Regular place that you've seen all the time, right? This men's apparel store, this sign for men's apparel. You would think would be harmless enough, but it ain't either, right? This is what's really going on. It's telling you no independent thought. And we're all about independent thought up around here. We don't play that nonsense. So again, my man's like, what is really going on? And you can see it's kind of a head scratching time. So he's out and he's looking around, and then it dawns on him, man, like, what else am I not seeing that's out there, right? So let's pop the glasses back on and let's get the big view of the city. And this should make you like shocked in yourself, right? Because now we're seeing it in its full totality. Like the takeover has already happened. So in a way, like he's having to accept a lot about his culture, that there's two layers to it, and we didn't even know that they were slipping this in on us, right? That's the scary part, that it's already done. Watch TV, consume, buy, sleep 8 hours, play for it. Like it's telling you everything. If you look at all the signs, literally looking at the signs, you can't get more literal than literally looking at the signs around you. And all the stuff that you see here is all shit we like to do. This is all of our favorite stuff. This is the top 10 of stuff that we want to do and seems normal, right? And we don't realize we're walking around and we are obeying. We are doing exactly what they say. So you see my man gets back out, and now he's like, I gotta see what's going on. I gotta really look and see, like, how is this affecting us in other life? Because now I'm completely consumed by it. So you see my man walk around, he's passing like the newsstands. This is where he's at, the newsstand. And everything at the newsstand is also buy, consume. Here's a good shot, right, as he's going through it. All the books here, right, are all about like watching TV. So every part of your media is complicit in telling you to buy, to consume. And we go deeper in, right? So you see my man, he's at the book stand, and we see these all over the place. And while we're thinking it's just like, you know, fun magazine or sports magazines, if you crack them open on the inside, it's the same freaking thing. So everything is telling you in this world that you need to sleep and you need to obey. And he's like, he ain't having it, right? You could see the shock, like, and we're going through this with him in real time. Amazing job. But then the real revelation, like, while he's accepting all this stuff is going on, he still hasn't cracked on like the real essence of the movie. That is yet to happen. But that's about to happen right now, and you and I are about to go through this experience. Because right, he's looking at, he's seeing the magazines, the wheels are turning. I'm starting to understand maybe this conspiracy, but I can still put this all on corporations and humans right here. I can literally say that, yeah, the government wants that, right? And while that's a whole level of reality, and what most people are thinking at this time. And again, it is a historical context. The Reagan era was great for some, like there was a lot of abundance at the top. But that trickle-down bullshit did not work. We saw that live and direct. So we had a lot more poverty in the city, and this is what John Carpenter is representing. So what we really get is an elite class, and this is important. So when you watch this film, and you might go back and watch, let's say the Tom Cruise classic Risky Business, right? If you watch that film after watching this, you'll see the stark context between the two. Tom Cruise Risky Business, again, one of the more popular films from our generation. This is I think, the film that really established Tom Cruise. Like, you know, Tom Cruise been around forever, man. I don't care who you are, you probably watched a Tom Cruise movie, whether you liked him or not. Like, this was his heyday. This was the day of like Top Gun. This was, you know, when he was a teen, Risky Business, and his life, because I think the whole thing was, his parents are gone for the weekend, right? And this was a key thing in the 80s for movie devices, is that the parents are going away because your parents are rich. Your parents had money to go on vacation. So this is the Tom Cruise class. We see the same thing in, what's the movie? Weird Science. The parents are gone, leaving the kids at this fat house to do whatever they want. Ferris Bueller. Parents rich, you got a Ferrari, you take their car, right? So no one was watching the kids because they were too busy being completely rich, right? So this is what we're getting at the same time. This is the same timeline. So it's important for this context because what people are really feeling is that there is this elite class and they all get to go on vacation and do as much cocaine as they want while everybody else is a working class stiff who doesn't actually have it. So we see this manifestation of seeing an elite class and regular ass people. And he represents regular ass people. And what do regular ass people start to realize? This is the profound moment right here. Bam. That it's not just the messaging, it's the elite class that is different. This is it right here. And in this instant, now this shifts into being a true sci-fi classic, right? This is real storytelling with very powerful symbolism, very powerful allegories, and this is what this means. This elite class, the rich guy, is the alien. They're the ugly ones. It's not just the books, like they're implementing the books, they're implementing the signs, but this is all about the elite class. And you can see like the progression. He already knows there's some stuff going on, right? So I've already seen all the magazines. I've already seen all the magazines and everything, but look at the shock on his face. And again, Roddy Piper was not known for his acting ability. Ridiculously, he should have redefined at this moment because of what he's given us. And I'm gonna give you his second shot. Like, this is it right here. That's the look. This is the look of someone having their whole world being ripped away from him. You thought Neo was bad. Like when they did it with Neo, we all understood. Like his world was about to get flipped upside down. That's what this guy is doing right here. And let's go back. I wanted to highlight this because you see what the alien even says to him, right? The aliens are so comfortable that he says, "What's your problem?" The aliens are so used to this complete takeover that they've had that he's like, "What are you looking at me for, fool?" And this because this is what I look like most of the time. And what do I look like most of the time? I look like what is the elite class during the Reagan era. This is what it looks like. And he's like, "I said, what is your problem?" Again, he's authoritative. Think about it, man. This is somebody on your planet, right? They came to our house and you talking trash to me and you standing on my soil. So this is kind of what this class really is. So now my man Nada is just completely effed up in the head because now you're seeing it and he's speechless, but he's wearing everything on his face. Again, this is great direction, pulling this out of a guy who we know for running around in a kilt and jumping off the top turnbuckle. But I was a big fan of it, so I can't even front. And this scene gets deeper, right? And again, this is like an 8-minute scene. You see how much they're packing into this because this is where it gets important. So he's shocked. He puts the glasses back on. So let's what happens when you put the glasses back on, right? So because he wants to see what these glasses are really showing me in about my society. Am I truly crazy? And this is a definitive moment because you get to see again the guy who owns the shop, the laborer, the black guy in the back, right? And he's interacting with the guy that I just saw as the alien. So this can even be mentally testing your noodle even right now. But then when he sees them together, it lines it all up. And now we see that there are aliens and regular people. So I'm not crazy. I'm not seeing everybody as an alien, right? The glasses aren't making everybody look like this. It's only certain people. So we kind of start to get the rhythm of what he's really saying with this movie. And again, this is how modern myth is actually born and actually made, right? It's this way, a new telling. So we see the man and this alien, he's getting into the fat car. Now, look at his attire. So let's stop. Let's stop and take a look at his attire. Your face is busted, right? You're ugly, you're poor. This is also important, but you're clean, right? You got the suit, you got the vest on, right? You're coiffed, all that stuff. You're probably getting into an expensive car, but yet you're ugly. That is something that we need to draw out of this movie, and we'll see this point get reinforced over and over again. Again, just brilliant development of a story, great character art. And again, my man's like, I'm staring this. I gotta suck all this in because I'm getting it live, real time. I'm literally drinking from the water hose in real time. Life-changing information. Planetary implications all at the same time. And it gets even deeper because without the glasses, then again, he's this. He's this again. He's this guy sitting in the corporate, probably checking his stock tips and everything right now. That's probably what, and look at that look. It's an authoritative look on his face. And then we get back to the regular guy, the working class guy every day, right? We see him. You know, regular guy, regular clothes. We can see this guy. He ain't shining, no suit, but this is a guy you got to deal with. Now, this is an important scene because it gets particularly in cities, because you see the guy standing there and he's holding his money in his hand, right? The root of all evil. He's got his money in his hand. Look, what do the glasses say about the money, right? What do the glasses say about the money? Because it's very revealing about your entire world and your entire structure. And what it says about the money, like, look at him. He's like, I got to peep out the money part of it. Because it's revealing all this truth to me right now. This is a day of truth. This is a day of reckoning. What does it say about the money? Well, let's look at what it says about the money, right? We know it's the root of all evil. What they decide to tell you is that this is your God. Now, this is really, really important because this is an era of excess. This was a golden age if you were, rich and lived in the suburbs. This was Reagan time. We've seen whole political campaigns still be run on remembering this era. So if it was really good for you, it was really good. If it wasn't really good for you, it was problematic. Because there was a lot of cocaine and a lot of stuff going on in this era that we won't talk about in this particular genre, in this film. All right. But let's keep going. So not only are we seeing that money is the root of all evil, or money is your God, we're also seeing that, we're being surveilled. Now we're being surveilled. And this is a surveillance device, and it's sitting right on top of, the street light. So that's everywhere. Like, you are just being surveilled. That's what's going on. You're just going to have to deal with it. This is the world that you live in, that I live in right now. All right, so let's clean some of these images up. Let me get a couple of these off here. But this is the important one I wanted to leave up here, right? Let's get this one off of my head. So now that we're kind of in understanding the scope of all this, we just kind of see my man going out in the city, and he's kind of testing his theories. And again, you notice spatially the isolation that he has. That's not by accident. That's very intentional, because he's feeling this isolation, like in his heart, in his soul. I'm understanding what's going on in a lot of ways right now. So even in his mental mind, even what's going on in his noodle, he is really alone, and he's really starting to feel it. In what, so they show it again. We want to capture this isolated feeling. We want to make sure that we see, like, you don't have a lot of allies, right? Most people are kind of caught up in this already, and the message is super prevalent, right? Welcome, Pokemon, for coming in. Okay, so now it gets even deeper, right? Like I'm telling you guys, this is a rabbit hole that you got to choose to go down, because it gets deep, and you'll never look at it the same way again. So he goes in, he's like, let's check out the beauty salon. And this is saying a lot about, again, our elite culture, our elite community, right? That all this grooming, they're at the beauty salon, right? You can see them all lined up here, getting their hair done. Obey, obey. The same messages. Stay asleep. Welcome, Grammy. And they're hideous. They're ugly creatures, thoroughly, inside and out. And that's really the message, that none of the polish. And there's a line where he runs up on a lady, and I'll talk about it, where he says it's like putting lipstick on a pig, because they're so ugly. This is a scene where it gets a little deeper, right? And we start to reveal more. They reveal a lot about culture in this 8-minute span that I think needs to be complimented more and more as time goes by. So he walks into the grocery store. This is way before the days of DoorDash. And from this culture, everybody went to the grocery store. This was the one meeting place, because you all had to get food. And this was the one place. You go to the grocery store, it's going to tell you a lot about American culture at this time. So you see, like, regular grocery store. This looks normal. This doesn't even look bad. This looks like what we should see when we're at the grocery store. And in a lot of ways it is. But man, the glasses give us something else, right? The glasses give us a whole different look. Let's look at this same grocery store through the lenses of these glasses. And these glasses themselves are a metaphor. The glasses themselves are a metaphor for awakening, right? That's completely what it is. So we see when you flip them down, the glasses are on, the illusion's back, they cover your eyes, you busting through the illusion. This isn't a suggestion, this is a directive that we're seeing. He's really telling us that we're blinded by these aliens. We're blinded by these manifestations, and what they're using is our everyday life. So they have taken over every single aspect of your everyday life, because now we're even in the grocery stores. It'd be different. You expect the corporate world, right? You expect even like politics, right? You expect all this stuff. You don't expect these fools to be shopping at the grocery store with you, but they are, because they've built a whole environment on you. So when we look at it, we see the aliens, right? The alien monsters, the messed up faces, right? None of them are working. There's not one of them that's working here. Everybody who is an alien is shopping, right? All the humans are the working class. And that's what we see. So we see these aliens, they're living it up, man. They're laughing. They're having polite conversations at the grocery store. All the stuff that you would think we would be doing at this time. And so he's starting to see how they're interacting with us every day on everyday life. They're having conversations. You have a human here who doesn't realize he's talking to this alien, and he works with this guy. So they're in your corporate world. These are not only the people in your neighborhoods, probably your boss. These are your coworkers. And it's just so happened what these guys say is the alien was the one who got promoted. I think he says it to him. Like, let's check out the lines. I was daft enough to put the closed caption so we get what's going on with the dialogue here. And he says, it's easy for you to say you got the promotion because you an alien. And so this is what aliens are coming down here, taking our jobs, getting our promotions, balling, living a life that we feel like we should be living, right? So he's starting to see it at level. So it's rising in the level of this takeover that John Carpenter is brilliantly showing us. And like where it really gets serious, where it really gets dangerous is right here. Okay, right here. Now it's on TV. And we know how TV gets to us, right? And the same message of TV is to obey. So they're using that, you know, we would have always suspected they wouldn't have just marketed on billboards and signs. They would have gone to multimedia. And that's exactly what they did. This is so profound to him that he actually laughs. You can see in this scene that how he's reacting to seeing, you know, all this going on, right? And it's profound to him. It's funny. And this is a prophetic line here. And this was a line I really, even at the time, really stood out to me. It figures it would be something like this, right? Like, and what this line is saying is, we expected something. We expected some kind of attack. And it figures that it would be something that would be insidious, that would slip through the cracks like this, where we wouldn't notice it. Where it's programming us through all the things that we like. It's creating this idea and these beauty standards that are geared towards these people. And he tells her. So this is when he sees this woman and what he says to her, right? And you can see her. I mean, this is really important because you see the fur coat, you see the jewelry, you see the fine clothing, but then you see this. And that is more than just symbolically talking about a group of people. It is saying everything. Now, he becomes, again, more of the outcast. You look like your head fell into the cheese dripper, right? She's terrible. He's calling her out for what she's looks like. He is the true man. Again, it takes the common man sometimes to say the things that the rest of us won't say. And so he's seeing it and he's not running from it. He's right in her face. Again, the working class who's not impressed with her fineries. He sees her for what she really is. He sees beyond this mask. He sees beyond like everything, right? You ugly, UGLY. And so he's calling it out. But he becomes, because of that, even more ostracized. And now it becomes even more insidious. And you're like, more insidious than the stuff that we've been watching? Absolutely, it gets more insidious with this. And I want you to remember, guys, this is like an 8-minute, overall scene that they're packing so much in here about culture, about society, about what our fears are. All this stuff wrapped into this John Carpenter film. So he kind of becomes the outsider, and what do? They go old Karen, right? And you see, they even have technology where she's immediately snitching on him. And then he starts to get the real scope of what we're up against here, because it's not just her, it's a bunch of them. They have, and everybody's snitching. This is the Snitchy Awards, right? Everybody. So he starts to really get a sense of, yeah, they're a force, and they're out here getting us, and they're highly organized, and they're doing everything that they need to be to handle this business. And we're not. We're completely lost in this fight. So this is my man, and again, he's out here on his own, right? They've identified him, and he's going to have to just be hopeful that he can even survive. So he's walking down the street now, kind of adjusting to what life. And again, the director goes back to this move, which is profound, and it's this sense of isolation that he has around. You're on a busy street,
We know what that's like. You bump into people, you might say hi to someone, they might say hi to you. We get people who are weird like that. But that's not what he sees or what he gets in any way, right? And what happens when all this stuff goes down? Now they call the police on you. And that's what they do, right? So all this revelation, seeing, understanding, leads you to getting the police called on you, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to. And I want to show a couple images. I hope I grab these, because this is about all his interaction with the police now. Because guess what? Bam! They got the police force too. Like, they are the police. The aliens are the police. They're the elite class. They hold us in place with marketing and sell us all these items. They sell us a dream. They're all up in your noodle with fascism. They're telling you not to resist. And then when you really try to resist, then they come with the beat down for you. And that's what these guys represent. They are the police. And this is a very insightful moment, because this police alien, right? Police in our communities, that's Rich. You look as shitty to us as we do to you, right? That's what he has to say about it. Like, don't just think you're the ugly ones, right? But Roddy Piper, who's down for us, literally says it's impossible. It's impossible that we seem as ugly to you as you seem to us, because you guys are at the height of ugly. And so this is what he represents. So he has to fight his way out of the scene. And now, the film goes into a whole nother direction. Like, now it's really alive. He has to fight with these two cops. Roddy Piper gets it done, as he knew he would. And now we're able to move along with this character development. But just so much that comes out of this film. This is classic 80s sci-fi in a way that's given us a completely inverted view of what our culture is, and starting to really look at, and it'll tell you a lot about, what the writer thinks, about what the director thinks. And because, with John Carpenter, after doing, with The Escape from New York and some of the other films, he has done a great job of kind of building this. Man, it's not an apocalyptic future, but it's a grimier future where you have like prison islands. Like, this is kind of what we're going towards. And so I think this is one of those films that it should be really studied in terms of getting the symbolism out of it, understanding what this message is. And I always talk about the idea of modern mythology. Again, this channel started off with me talking about mythology, and we're kind of keeping that theme repetitive. So we see so much coming from this film and what it represents, who its protagonists are, which is the regular everyday man. That's not lost when we look at what Jeff, Gen X, I see this dude just jumped in. I know you know all about this era right here. If you're representing Gen X just like me, this is a Gen X film. This is our time, our directors, our celebrities kind of showing what we saw going through this Reagan era. The two sides of the coin for American culture during one of the more significant. Now let's remember, this is one of the more significant eras. Let's remember, like, our current president really was, when he was saying make America great again, he was going back to Reagan era talking points, right? So if we draw anything out of this, that by reliving these Reagan era ideologies, that this may be the path that we see coming forward. But again, we're going to stick to just looking at the symbolism, the mythology of it, and it's just rich. I'm going to go into another scene in the movie, not right now. I usually like to keep these to 30-minute streams just to kind of get the day going. I appreciate everyone who stopped in, and we're going to continue to build. So the next one, which I'll probably do tomorrow, will be the alley fight scene, which is another just major moment, and it says a lot. Again, there's a lot of rich theme mythology that goes onto it, and we'll get to talk a lot more about that fight scene, the choreography of it. So if you're into that, definitely stop in tomorrow. I should be on about the same time. And as always, of course, I got a full gallery of the breakdowns for these videos done in shorts form. So if you like it, join the channel. Definitely check me out at YouTube, because you'll get more long form videos where I'll sit and talk for 20 minutes about a particular topic, but the shorts do a great job of conveying it. So again, I'm going to log off right now. I appreciate you guys stopping in as always. Looking forward to see you guys tomorrow. Hit me up in the comment section if you have more that you want to ask, and I'm not immune to gifts, so you guys are down with giving a little bit of gift to support the channel. I do a lot of research. I will spend today, getting ready for tomorrow, to make sure I give you guys a good presentation. So I hope you appreciate it. I definitely appreciate you guys being here.